Welcome to At the Controls, the Twit video game show. We're still in beta. This is show RC17. I'm your host, Glenn Rubenstein. With me, as always, is Brian Brushwood here in studio today. Brian, how's it going?
Oh, listen, it's so different now that we're rap superstars.
Yes.
Thanks to Vid Rhythm.
Vid Rhythm. That's our intro.
We're about to tear it up.
Courtesy of Harmonix's new rhythm game available for iOS. Tom Merritt has today off, but we're here live and in effect to tell you everything that's going on in the world of video games.
Was that an intentional reference to Max Headroom right there?
No.
Live and direct. That's what he said. I like live and in effect, though. Matt Brewer was amazing on that.
Yes, yes, he was. Do we have our intro music for the news, Alex?
Yes.
Yes, it's right here. Hold on. Oh.
Wait, that's not it. All right, we're done.
Did I just mess that up?
No.
Okay.
And now, the news. Brian, what's our top story?
So after the 3DS price drop in August, the sale of 3DSs are boosted by 235,000 units, according to Scott Moffat, Nintendo of America's Executive VP of Sales. Quote, consumers are responding very positively to the new suggested retail price. Who would have thought?
The original Crysis is headed to the PS3 and Xbox 360 as a downloadable title. Crysis is coming to the 360 and PlayStation 3. The game will be unchanged from the original PC version for the most part, except for some slight modifications and enhancements for each console. However, the game will be remastered, running on the CryEngine 3. Look for it this October, available for $19.99.
EA has rolled out their online pass last May, and, quote, the revenues they derive from that haven't been dramatic. CFO Eric Brown says it's generated somewhere between $10 to $15 million. Gamers are still complaining about online playability that's limited to those who buy the games used. Yeah, that's the whole point.
Speaking of EA, EA's digital distribution service Origin now has more than 4 million users. Currently, you can only purchase EA games such as Battlefield 3 and The Sims 3 via the service, but Electronic Arts CFO Eric Brown announced that very soon, EA will also be delivering third-party content via Origin. Take that, Steam.
Yeah, in your face, Steam, who we love very much and wish other services were more similar to. PlanetSide 2 is going to be free in some parts, according to SOE President John Smedley. That's Sony Online Entertainment. Sony's still working out the details of what form FTP the game will be. That rhymed. They are looking at League of Legends model of play for visual upgrades, but not character abilities. We don't have to wait too long since the beta will be coming by the end of the year or early next year.
This week, we also have to give a special mention to the passing of Bill Kunkel, who passed away this past weekend. He was a pioneering video game journalist who co-founded the first magazine devoted to covering video games. He died in his Michigan home early Sunday morning. He was 61 years old. I had the pleasure to meet Bill quite a few times on video game junkets back in the day. He, of course, worked with Arnie Katz and Joyce Worley. He penned the first regular column about games, Arcade Alley, and Video magazine starting in 1978. And together they founded Electronic Games Magazine. He was very cool and definitely an influence on my style of writing. He really coined and pioneered and paved the way for a lot of video game journalists, so he will definitely be missed. Again, Bill Kunkel was 61 years old. Moving on to control issues this week, the first thing we wanted to talk about is video game advertising. Now, we were having a bit of a spirited discussion about
this is the moment we even started talking about this.
We had to
save it for the show. Save it for the show.
Yeah. This week, Dead Island came out, and I've been playing it. And a lot of people have had some complaints about Dead Island, specifically that it didn't quite live up to the awesome trailer that came out this past spring.
Okay, first of all, this is an old debate. We've been having the same debate since the Atari 2600 cartridges. Because you remember they'd have these epic Buck Rogers-looking space battles, and you'd be having 3 pixels that are spitting a pixel on another 4th pixel, right? So this is nothing new, but you got to realize that when they develop these titles, they give all the assets, they outline the gist of the story, they explain what's novel about it, and then they hand it over to a totally separate division who's never even played the games in some divisions, who try to figure out a way to tell the story of the game. And I think, and of course, before the original trailer for Dead Island came out, the things they were harping on is that it's a zombie survival game that'll be heavily based in reality. Lots of melee weapons. The weapons are going to degrade over time. The zombies are not going to be disposable. If you see 3 or 4 zombies, you're going to think twice before you run up and start trying to mess with them. And of course, the trailers that had that very novel backward storytelling that made anyone who has a child cry, basically, to watch. Look, man, I'm going to say cut them a break. They did a great job of saying this is different than other zombie movies or zombie games you've played. And I think whether or not it hit the specifics of what is going to make the game fun to play, I think it did a good job of setting the location and the types of characters who are in this environment, because the whole idea is everyday people who suddenly find themselves in this open-ended environment, you know, surrounded by zombies.
Well, I think my issue with it is this, had the game premise just been announced, like you're on a Club Med type island or like a Sandals Beach Resort,
sure,
and there's a zombie outbreak, I think people would have been incredibly satisfied with the game. And I think that hardcore fans of the zombie genre are the ones that are really satisfied with Dead Island. Everyone that I know that really seems to be loving it is really into zombies. Like, I mean, so anything zombie related, it works for them. I think the problem is that the way that the trailer set it up, with almost like this Pixar level of emotion.
Oh, sure.
Backward storytelling, where it was really just, you know, sort of beautiful and sad, and presented the concept. It presented more than just the concept. It basically said, like, we're taking it beyond the concept of presenting this powerful story. You know, and
so if they have a fault, their fault is that they told too engaging of a narrative in the advertisement.
The fault is that, you know, and what's funny is in the game, when it starts off, you see a lot of cutscenes and it gives you the option to skip them, but the cutscenes are very short. There are 4 different playable characters. There are no children zombies in the game, so there's absolutely no relation whatsoever to the teaser trailer.
But again, that doesn't bother me, not in the least.
I think it set the expectations higher. I think the game, let me put it this way, okay? They traded what could have been great word of mouth and like a sleeper hit. They traded that by setting the expectation for a AAA title that people thought was going to be this amazing, powerful story.
No.
You don't think that it set the expectations too high?
No, okay, first of all, they didn't make a decision. They're like, listen, let's do ourselves a disservice and make a trailer that's too awesome and will get too much publicity. I mean, this is a case where somebody struck gold. They sent it over to the advertising department.
Yeah.
They used the locations, they used the assets they had, and they told a little vignette, and they told it in a novel way, and this thing went crazy viral because it's an advertisement that makes you cry, and it's gorgeous, and it sucks you in. And yes, maybe it's not exactly what the game turned into, but it's like I'm so not bothered by that. That's so.
I just think I was expecting more.
Oh, okay, all right.
You know, I mean, that's just how I put it.
You were looking for an emotional hook, an emotional context.
I was looking for something that invested me a little more with the characters. Don't get me wrong. I've been playing the game. I'm a couple hours in. I'm going to keep playing it. I have complaints about it, which we'll talk about in what we're playing. I have some specific complaints about Dead Island. I just think that they set up the they set the bar, the expectations. Probably, I would say it's probably the most effective video game trailer that got people excited about a game.
Okay.
What do you think is the last trailer before that got people super stoked for a game just based on the trailer?
Well, I couldn't believe this example, but you suggested that the trailer for the original Gears of War did a disservice.
Well, no, some people did.
Yeah,
on Twitter
those
and
people
G+,
are
that's
high,
not my
and they're
suggestion.
stupid.
I actually disagree with that. I think the Gears of War trailers are a great example of the trailer setting up the game perfectly. I think the problem that I have is, well, I mean, back in the day, okay, do we have some examples of that, Alex, of like old school video game?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Pull up the River Raid trailer. Go to River Raid.
Hold on, let's watch this Phil Hartman one.
All right, here we go. Check this out.
Is the old style of advertising video games.
Do you have ice hockey by Activision?
Think you're ready for it? One of the roughest video games around for your Atari game system? Ready to battle for the puck? Well, to inflict fierce body checking, furious stick checking, ruthless tripping. You really think you're ready for all that? I'm ready! Fine. Cash your charge.
Ice hockey by Activision!
See, this
I
is
like
how
that
excited
style.
he is.
I like that style. I like how it mixes together the game footage with a novel premise.
Well, no, okay, but the
but you
point.
knew what you were getting.
Well,
You
I
knew
mean,
what you were getting.
yeah, I mean, yes and no. Okay, look, hopefully this is River Raid here. I don't know. What do we got here? Let's take a look at this.
You are the player, and the arcade is the arena. You focus your mind and propel yourself into a universe.
Okay, well, that's clearly not what the game looks like.
As long as you can keep the trip going. This is the arcade experience. We're ColecoVision. We bring the arcade experience.
That is just
with games
purposefully
like Donkey
misleading.
Kong.
Okay, yeah. Well, you see, now, but again, this is accurate. This is accurate.
That let you have the arcade experience at home because your vision is our vision. ColecoVision.
See, now again, the premise that they're trying to convey is that you get the actual arcade experience, and they said, okay, now, and maybe they took some creative license on what the arcade experience looked like, but again, they did, the ColecoVision delivered on that. It gave you pretty much, it was real Donkey Kong.
I think that where it all changed, though, is where we got to the level of graphics where you could do a complete game footage trailer, but then it blurred the lines when you started to see cinematics as trailer, where it looked close enough to something you'd see in the actual game.
Yeah, but
like that's where the line got blurred, and that's where I think it got a little dicey as far as advertising games, which is why we've talked about it before, like that straight cutscene.
All right, here we go. Yes, right here.
Something you shouldn't base an opinion.
Let's rock this business right here. River Raid, can you make it?
Can't turn back. River Raid target at 039. Under control. Approaching airspeed 62. Taking West Canyon. Good call. Fuel critical, sir. Choppers at 3 o'clock. Roger, I copy. Pilot's close. No, he'll decide that. Fuel critical, sir. He knows that. Sir, he's off for the East Canyon. Negative, that's a trap. River Raid to home sweet home and River Raid, can you make it? River Raid, can you make it?
Yes! Come on, man. I want to play this game.
No, see, that's good because it deals with the footage. I think the problem is with Dead Island, okay, is that it set up a story that isn't the story of the game, and that's different.
Well, but
that's a technical difference.
But they didn't have multiple ads telling this same story. They had other ads.
Unfortunately, it was the biggest video game ad of
yeah, certainly.
Yeah, and I think that's where the problem is. If I have to
not their fault, bro. Not their fault.
It's not our fault. We got you all excited about a story that isn't in the game.
Look, it's just like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I leave awesome all over this? That's my mistake. Oh well, it just oozes out of us. It's not. It's up to them.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have something. This one's a little more recent. Let's take a look at the Medal of Honor.
This is my absolute favorite video game ad of the last 10 years.
Wow.
Medal of Honor Pacific Rising.
All right.
Or Rising Sun, pardon me.
All right, so what's wrong with this?
The battle rages online.
I think that's the best video game out of the last 10 years.
So that was for the PS2. Was any of that actual footage? That was all cinematics, wasn't it?
It was cinematics, and the game has a very frustrating first level where the ship's being attacked, and you have to figure out how to get out. I spent like an hour figuring out how to get out of the ship.
That's awesome.
I was frustrated, but I thought that was such a good ad, and with that, but I like that it conveys the concept of the game.
Okay,
in a very cool way. With Dead Island, some people in the chat room are agreeing with me, although I like the snarkiness of, no, I wasn't expecting the game to be played in reverse. I was just expecting a more emotional story. And people in the chat room are saying that they just rewatched the Dead Island ad and that, it made them cry. If you want to see something really depressing, on Reddit, somebody synced up the music from the Dead Island ad with the opening montage from Up.
And that's so dreadful. Somebody else did that with the what's that new Get Naked Wii game that they got? It was probably from 6 months ago, where they sexied up and somebody took that and paired it up with the Dead Island music as well. It was freaking ridiculous. We Dare, that's what it is.
And that's the thing. I think that Dead Island, I guess we should transition to this, changing topics to what we're playing. So with Dead Island, I've been playing it. I think that I'm kind of on the fence about zombies as a whole.
All right,
I like some zombie stuff.
All right. So first of all, what about Left 4 Dead? Did you like Left 4 Dead?
I love Left 4 Dead.
Okay. And are you just zombied out? Is that the problem?
I think it's being a little bit zombied out. And, you know, it's not even the story that's my main nitpick with Dead Island. I was a little disappointed to find the story from the ads isn't the story that's in the game.
Wait, you really thought it was going to be a story of a family whose child got eaten and turned into a zombie?
I was expecting that same level of storytelling.
Okay. All right.
How about that?
All right.
You know what it's like? It's like saying, dude, I'm going to see a Pixar movie. It's going to be awesome. Oh my God.
Okay,
I'm watching.
Not fair, because Pixar. Okay, all right.
It's like saying, dude, I'm going to go see a Pixar movie. It's going to be awesome. And then walking out of Cars and going, what in the hell did I just watch?
Well, first of all, Cars was awesome, so screw
Dude,
you.
you're high.
No, dude, it was Doc Hollywood with
Doc
Cars.
Hollywood. That's
yes.
all it was.
Look, just because they're singing a song you've heard before doesn't make it a bad song. All right, so anyway, this is the Dead On.
I remind you that Cars came after The Incredibles.
Yes, dude, The Incredibles was awesome.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Oh man, now we're all gonna cry.
Yeah, now let's just get bummed.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Okay, so the level of storytelling didn't live up to the ad. That's fine. I can get over that. Okay, here's my main complaints about Dead Island. One, experience a little motion sickness.
Sorry, hold on. I'm sorry.
Which you mentioned that PC Gamer, they mentioned that also, and I've heard some other people mention that with Dead Island. I normally don't get motion sickness, but it's one of those things where I had a little bit of it. That's a minor thing, and that just I think has to do with like some quick jagged movements.
And first of all, let me say you're not the first person I've heard that from. I heard it from at least 2 other people over on the PC Gamer podcast. They were talking about it, and that's something, as trained as we all are for first-person shooters, for a game to cause motion sickness, I don't know, really surprised me. It seems like nowadays we would all be accustomed to it. So there's got to be something in it that is sort of I don't know, flipping a trigger in your brain.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of that. But here's my real complaint with it. One, you have to spend a lot of time in the game searching around for items and money. And then every time that you want to repair an item, combine items, if you find an energy drink that gives you a power-up, you spend money. But it's completely arbitrary because it's not like in the game, it's not like you go to a shop and there's a shopkeep that says, oh, hey, that'll be $5. No, it's like you find a soda and it just deducts $1 out of your
oh, well, that's
stash.
bogus.
Yeah, that's just weird.
Yeah.
It feels completely arbitrary, and I find that I spent way too much time in the game that I should have been spending killing zombies.
Right.
That I spent going around and searching luggage for money.
Now, what about the and this is fantastic, actually. They're actually showing, we're queuing it up right now. I immediately thought of System Shock 2 and the fact that you had weapon degradation. I haven't played a game with significant weapon degradation since System Shock 2.
Dead Island.
Yes.
Let me tell you, you hit something 20 times, and you have to find a tool bench.
Right, if you want to repair it.
Aren't all over the place. Like you have to hunt for these, and you have to repair your items. So if you make an awesome weapon combination, enjoy it for about 20 hits, and then you're going to be repairing it, because if you keep using it...
So you did not like that dynamic?
I think that this game... Okay, so I'm putting myself in the mindset of somebody that loves zombies, which, again, I'm on the fence about it.
Why would you love zombies? They're the undead, and they want to kill you.
Like, if you love...
That is a relationship that's not healthy.
Movies, when I think about like Dawn of the Dead and zombie movies that I love, I think about just, let me get in there, let me go find stuff, let me just bash the hell out of stuff. I don't want to be thinking about, now I got to run back and repair.
Okay, look, here's the thing. If what they wanted to do is make Dead Island a realistic, believable, and terrifying experience, and again, I'm speaking of someone who has yet to do it.
It is scary.
But I'm telling you, that's part of what made System Shock 2 the greatest horror game I've ever played, was knowing that you only had not only so many bullets left, but you know, your gun was about to fall apart, and the only thing you had left was a gun that was even worse shape.
Let me, though, drop this on you. When your weapons degrade, you can still use your fists, at least to some of the characters, and you could just beat the zombie. So it's not like...
That's
it's not
realistic.
Like you're ever just completely out of luck.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, you're not out of luck in System Shock 2, but you try to take your fists up against some of those guys, you're going to die.
The money part of it just seems weird, them spending all this time having to build up a stockpile of cash for an island that's... It's not like the zombies take money. You know, some zombies are carrying money because, of course, you know, maybe they died with some bucks in their pocket.
But then why would you spend that money when you pick up an energy drink off the floor?
It just seems weird. Like, that part seems a little weird to me. I think that... Like I said, if the game hadn't had that teaser trailer and we just all heard the premise, because if you just told me the log line of a bunch of zombies on an island resort, dude, I'm in. And I would play it and I would have been like, this game is exactly what it says it is. You know, and it delivered. I think the problem is it just raised expectations a little bit higher.
Okay, so one more thing to wrap up before we move forward on the control issues. I'm going to kick it over to the chat realm. If there's a single other game that has an egregiously incorrect or unsuitable advertisement for it, that's what we want to hear from you guys. I can't think of anything else. But then again, I'm an apologist for games that don't quite look like or movies that.
A lot of people said Gears of War. I put this out on Twitter the other day.
Oh, it's crazy talk.
A lot of people said Gears of War. I don't agree with that.
People are saying Assassin's Creed. I don't even remember the advertisement for that. Duke Nukem. Again, we saw gameplay footage back in 2001. The Zelda live action commercial. That's a great one.
I think that was
that's
back
straight
in the
from
day,
John
though.
Tilton
But that
over
was
here.
back in the day, though.
It doesn't excuse it if it tells because didn't they try to sell Zelda as like the game that never ends or something? It was like nobody knew what an RPG was.
I remember the one with the yelling with the Zelda.
Yeah. But it's like the idea was like you would go crazy. Like they had to sell the idea of an RPG, like a game that wasn't just beating levels over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think that, and you know, some people in the chat room just hit on exactly with Dead Island. It was different expectations, and I think that the trailer had a life of its own.
I'm gonna put that on you though. I'm gonna put that on whoever didn't know it.
We have recordings of old episodes of this show when we watched the trailer and we're all talking about the trailer.
Well, I know,
but stoked about it for that.
Well, yeah, but oh wait, is this what you were talking about, John Tilton? Because this is really weird. Okay, this is awesome. For the record, I don't even have a problem with this.
It's a different culture, and we can't judge.
No, I'm saying if that was released in America, I'd be like, I'll buy this game.
It makes no sense.
And if there's no dancing, I mean, it's dude, come on, it's all right. You guys are uptight.
I like kitschy ads. And I like ads that stand on their own.
Yeah,
and I think there's a difference. I'm just saying the line was a little blurred on this Dead Island thing.
I think you made the mistake of not reading the box label.
Me, sir.
I know. I think you and all your ilk made the mistake of not reading.
Of other people.
You and billions of other people. All of Earth is upset about this.
I gotta say, with Dead Island, transitioning into what we're playing with that, first time my experience renting a game via Redbox.
Oh, I saw that. I was driving by McDonald's just the other day, and I saw the games, and I thought of our story.
I'll tell you,
that was fast implementation.
Okay, so I signed up for GameFly, and you know what's funny? I'm just saying the publisher of Dead Island gave me that like, oh, we're out of copies, we can't get you one, and that's kind of weird. And it's funny when I was seeing some of the less than stellar reviews come in, I was like, oh, out of copies. So with I went to GameFly.
I'm still gonna get it though.
GameFly had a bit of a wait, and then Redbox though, dude, like day 2 they had it.
Wow.
Yeah, and I cannot say enough good things about my experience with it. I was able to go online. I was able to get the Redbox app, find the actual inventory, and pick it up in my hands. And I got to say, from now on, when I've seldom need to rent a game, but I'm going to rent from Redbox in the future. You know.
See, now why don't we rent games more often? Because I very rarely go back and play a whole game. I might go back and play the first level just for nostalgia's sake, but it's like if I could get the full experience for $10 instead of 60, I totally should. But I'm like you. Yeah. It's like I will very rarely rent a game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And with this show, especially because I try and play as much as possible, so we can cover as much as possible. It's just financially not feasible. So if companies aren't, most companies are pretty good about sending out games, but the ones that don't, then it's either buy it, which is a little cost prohibitive after a while, of course, or just renting it because I want to be able to play everything.
Yeah.
And so with Redbox, I gotta say, great experience there. Now, one game that I spent actually more time on than Dead Island is Driver San Francisco, which came out this week. And I gotta say, I'm really digging it. I probably played 20 hours of this game.
But keep in mind, like, you are familiar with San Francisco. That has to be a
so not accurate. I mean, the neighborhoods are accurate. The look of each neighborhood is accurate.
Right.
But you're not going to be able to find your favorite landmarks, you know, driving around. I mean, there's some stuff like Coit Tower. There's some stuff like Fisherman's Wharf and the Embarcadero.
Yep.
But then there's weird stuff like, oh, hey, there's an amusement park down in the, you know, marina.
Like things, that's not there.
Yeah, some
I don't
stuff
believe
that's
you.
totally
Wow, this does
just
look
weird.
awesome, though.
But one thing what's great about the game is it follows up some previous driver stories. You're chasing down like a crime kingpin named Jericho who escaped from prison, and what you're doing is as the cop, Tanner, I believe is his name, you have the ability to shift into other bodies. So it's like Quantum Leap.
Yeah, I was about to ask. This is the one where you don't actually jack cars the way Grand Theft Auto
you never get
does.
out of the car.
You just are the soul of the ghost driver or something.
What you do is you'll get a mission that'll say, stop the street racers. And what's awesome is you can chase them and ram them from behind, or you can jump into cars in oncoming traffic, like in quick succession, and just ram them head on.
So what is the stated, like, are you a ghost in this game?
You're a cop that's in a coma. I'm not sure exactly.
Okay, so
on the
there is a
logistics.
supernatural
There's going to be a weird
element,
twist element,
okay.
but what I like about it is it's like, it reminds me of a sort of low-rent, tongue-in-cheek 80s cop show.
Yeah.
And in fact, my favorite part of the presentation of it is that when you start a new chapter, you get the voiceover that says, previously on Driver San Francisco.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it gives you a little recap as to where the story is so far.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of, you know what it reminds me of? Remember how there was like, obviously like Quantum Leap, which was a great show, but this is almost like kind of like a bootleg USA Network circa 1991 version of Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Sort of like that show Good versus Evil a little bit, kind of like Simon and Simon. It's got sort of, you know, a buddy cop feel.
Now, I noticed, does everybody automatically hop out of the way? Can you
no, dude, you're totally hitting pedestrians.
Oh, okay, good.
They're not dying, but they are jumping.
Like, wait, you jerk. That's my leg you just broke.
But I gotta say, the different missions that are in this game, so you have stuff where you're going in and doing street racing. You have stuff where it's just challenging you to do different stunts. You have stuff where there was one where it was like speed, where you got like a bomb on a truck. Like, it's weird situations that you're just jumping into.
Awesome.
And you can use this Google Maps like view as you're looking around the city for where you want to go. So if you decide that you want to drive on the other side of the city and do another mission, you could just go right up, you know, look down from the heavens and pick another body to jump into.
I almost hesitate to ask, but console only?
No, dude, it's right now on the PS3 and Xbox 360, coming out for the PC later this month.
Yes! All right, well, then I'm all in.
I gotta say, I mean, I've never been a huge fan of the Driver series either. I think the Driver series has always been okay at best. But this is probably the most fun I've had playing a racing game since, or a driving game since Gran Turismo.
It looks like they've put a lot of work into capturing the types of cuts and camera angles you would get from action shows.
And there's tons of movie reenactments.
Yes.
Like, there's actually different achievements and accomplishments. For instance, you can get a DeLorean when you go to 88. It unlocks, like, a different mission to play. So it's pretty cool.
Well, there's also
the humor. It's very tongue-in-cheek.
It reminds me of, that's part of what made the original Grand Theft Auto 3 so successful.
Yeah.
They intentionally went back and said, what are all our favorite movies? What are all our favorite mob movies? What are the best scenes? How can we create missions that capture those moments? That's why you get stuff that, you know, you're like, hey, this is just like in Usual Suspects. This is just like in another movie.
I mean, so I really dig it. I really, really dig it. It's been a lot of fun to play. Probably since Gran Turismo 5 is probably the most fun I've had with a driving game.
Which is odd, because Gran Turismo obviously is a highly realistic sim, but I'm guessing
this is a little more arcade. Yeah. You know, there's no like shifting gears or whatnot. And it's weird. Chuck E. J saying, you know, why didn't they make it 100% realistic? Do they have a license for the looks of landmarks? And I don't think so. I think part of it has to do with they were trying to make a more
fun.
arcade
Look, as
experience.
somebody who's driven around in San Francisco, it's not so fun.
Well, I think that's the thing. I think one is
simplify,
just
people.
For style and
let's go ahead and make it. What the heck is that? What is that the original? What is
that's
oh my
Vet.
God.
Alex Kumpel just brought over Vet.
What? Pull that over this.
Yeah.
This is amazing. This, if you
Wow,
could
that's
lift
heavy.
it. All right, here you go. Check this bad boy out right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's old school recreating
Vet.
San Francisco.
And this is actually running on a Mac PowerBook?
Yep.
Wow.
Nice.
From Spectrum Holobyte?
Yes.
They were the guys who you could always count on for pretty looking VGA visuals. Wow, we hadn't even gotten into retro. I think we got a new retro segment here.
I think we've talked about Vet before, haven't we? I feel like Vet comes up almost every other show. And then every time when I bring up Drivers San Francisco, Alex will just show footage of Vet.
I can't believe this thing still works.
Yeah.
I can't believe there's a video game for a Mac.
So Driver San Francisco, of the games, let me put it this way. Dead Island I had high expectations for. Driver San Francisco I had kind of middle of the road expectations for. Dead Island, I'm going to play more, but Driver San Francisco has been the game that once I started playing it, haven't been able to put it down I'm like 20 hours in, and in fact, I just unlocked part of Marin County and the East Bay in Driver San Francisco. It even lets you go out of San Francisco a little bit.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So that's when I've been enjoying more of the games that came out this past week. Also, that came out this past week, I've been playing a little bit of Starbucks, which I've been taking advantage of their free app of the week. Had a little game called Spy Mouse. It's a little cat and mouse, like you're avoiding.
Wait, did you say it's Starbucks?
Starbucks has a free app of the week when you go in there. They have like a free music download and they have a free app.
Okay. Was it a good one?
This week, it's not bad. It's one of those games where you have to, kind of evade a cat and steal cheese. But I like the visuals. I like sort of because it combines kind of like a 60s James Bond motif with a cat and mouse.
It's so unfair that I just want to, because it's free, I want to regard it like something that came inside a cereal box.
They normally charge money
like
for it.
Yeah.
But so it's normally like a buck or two.
Huh.
But I gotta say, for free game, I'm just giving it a little bit of a plug because I did spend some time playing it. That's Spy Mouse on iOS. But then the game that really just complete time waster on Friday, which we were playing before the show.
Oh my God.
It's I don't know if technically it's a game, but it's Harmonix who did, of course, the Rock Band series and many other music games. Has done Vid Rhythm for iOS, for iPhone, and iPad.
All right, let's bust one of these out real quick.
We're playing it to start the show.
And first of all, love. Oh, sorry, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm starting to drop dope rhymes before I was prepared to. There we go.
And what it does is it lets you record different sound effects, and which we did before the show. We could show.
All right, so here you go. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to choose a new song here.
Yeah.
And then let me go ahead and turn this over right here.
This is the newest thing in sort of rhythm gaming. Although, I'm not sure. I'm a little hesitant to call it a full-on game, but man, is it fun.
A novelty? What would you call this? I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, it's I guess kind of a music maker. I mean, it's similar to Songify or something like that.
Let's see. You want to pick something at random?
Yeah, pick something there.
We'll do this one. It says, and we got a style here. We got Video Wall, Dance Central. We did Doggy Town earlier, which is just puppies everywhere.
A touch of class.
A touch of class. Yeah, we're class act here at the controls.
So this is Vid Rhythm. It's $2 for the iPad and iPhone.
All right, so here you go. We'll just bust right through
and
this here.
I'm pretty sure it's coming out for Android at some point.
All right, so this is make a low drum sound like bum, and here I'll turn this.
Okay, here you go. This one.
Boom. And then here's a kick. Make a low drum sound like boom. Boom. And then a tight snare drum like ch. Chick. And then another snare here. Chick. A hi-hat that's a tsk. Here you go. Tsk. And a bass. You got to sing the guide note. And then just like that, you press make video music and this one isn't lighting up so musically like the other one. I'm not liking this one, dude. This one's killing me. All right, that's enough.
Okay, that's Vid Rhythm out now on iOS.
$2.
There might be an Android version. I tried Googling and I wasn't able to find anything conclusive. Okay, moving on. Brian, what are you playing this week?
I downloaded and installed Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Yes, what did you think? I've only played it a little bit, but I got completely sidetracked by Dead Island and Driver San Francisco.
I loved the first 2 parts of it that I played.
Yeah.
I liked the mechanic. It was very intuitive. I enjoyed. It's been a while since I played a stealth game, so I really enjoyed getting back into that.
I love the cover system.
Yes, well, and I also love the the fact that it's a game about the moral dilemma about whether or not you want to pick one side or the other, and it was fun to. I don't know. I guess go against the type of person I would normally be. Normally, whenever I play a game, I always try to do the good thing and play the good guy. But this, for some reason, I just felt okay with like, screw it. I'm gonna do the easy thing here. I'm gonna kill this guy because it's clear that they want you to have some kind of reward for non-lethal takedowns of people. But I was just like, whatever, get out of my way, jerk. So it's like I'm having a good time. I'm looking forward. I'm upset that I had to get right on the road to do that.
Cool. Well, so how far do you think you're through the game?
Oh, I mean, maybe 7-10%. I mean, not very much at all. What about you? But you got a while.
I got sidetracked. I got a while to go.
Confess. Say it.
What?
Say it.
What?
Say it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You started playing. You got bored.
I started
bored
playing. I got
now.
bored. I got a little bored at the beginning. I thought it started slow. That's what I said. We talked. You weren't here last week.
I know.
You missed
I
a
wasn't.
lot. Did
If
you
I
listen to
knew,
last week's show?
I would have called you out as a betrayer, sir.
I'm sorry. I said I had an existential
Cleanse
crisis.
you. Bored now.
Thought it was a little slow. That's all I said. I'm sure it picks up.
You know, like, where's the little girl falling out the window? I don't understand this game.
And it crashed on me twice.
It's playing forward only. What's wrong?
Yes, I want all my game to see. Now the architect is agreeing with me. It's not his favorite.
All right. Well, look, I'm gonna reserve judgment until I actually get through the rest of it. I'm really enjoying it.
I'm gonna play it.
What about you? So you played Driver? What else?
Played Driver. Well, we got through all mine already.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm about to play a crap ton of this with my daughter. As soon as I get home, this is the first thing I'm going to play.
Let's look at games coming out this week. Coming out this week, NHL 2012, hitting the PS3 and the Xbox 360. God of War Origins Collection is coming out for the PS3.
Is that just a repackaging
I
of the
believe
latest
it is.
God of War? Okay.
Bit Trip Saga is coming out for the 3DS. But you know what's coming out?
Wait a minute. You skipped right over Jet Set Radio.
No, dude. That's some retro. That's next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's retro. Sorry.
Yeah, look at
I'm
the
looking
order.
at. I'm looking at. I got confused. I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Brian's not used to being this. You know, really, when Tom's not here, this all falls apart.
I know. That's fine. Keep going.
There's going to be YouTube
Rock
comments
it.
like, "This is why they need Tom."
We
know we need Tom.
We know
we're
there's
so
a
not
reason
even.
Tom's
we,
there.
Tom, we need you.
Yes.
Please head down. No, Tom will be back next Friday. No, NHL 2012. Been loving the demo. Really looking forward to that.
Now, I'm not somebody. Are you a fan of hockey in general?
No, but I want to be.
Yeah.
Like I keep thinking I got to get more into hockey.
I did get into NHL for the PC back in the day, and FIFA played that. Or was it FIFA, whatever.
Yes.
FIFA.
But I like that.
FIFA. That's how Texans say it.
Yeah.
But it's funny how many sports I can now recite many of the rules for that I've never actually played thanks to video games.
I gotta say the NHL 2012 demo, just that alone, it's the first new hockey game I've been excited about probably since NHL 94, maybe.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, no, that's around the time. Yeah.
And in fact, it's got NHL 94 controls that you can set it to in that. So you can play NHL 94 like 2-button mode.
Speaking of hockey, real quick side
Doesn't this
note,
look great?
It really does.
And I know it's weird because it doesn't feel like every couple of years we have that moment in games like this is like watching it on TV.
And it's funny because I think what they figure out is another trick to take advantage of in order to, like, for example, random movements in the camera, motion blur.
60 frames per second,
Yes,
you know, or
that'll
fields per
certainly
second,
help.
like things like that really...
Depth of field, all those little things that trick your eye into think you're seeing, you know, and dating all the way back to lens flare back in the day when you played Need for Speed, it'd be like that.
And Remix in the chat room is pointing out that NHL 11 also had 94 controls, which is weird that that's even what EA comes back to as like, look, no messing around. This is the best year we ever did.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
NHL 94.
So real quick, remember Blades of Steel, right?
Yes.
Do you remember
fondly.
during Blades of Steel, you could actually, while the game was loading, you would play a mini game.
Oh God, I don't remember that.
It was the first one to do it.
Yeah.
And you could play a mini game of a little. I forget what was some other Namco game. Was it they'll tell me in like 5 seconds ago. But if I remember correctly, the reason, like I remember thinking this is awesome, and why don't all games have a mini game to play while the game loads?
Yeah.
Turns out it was. Sorry. Turns out the reason is because it was such a good idea that Namco patented it, and as a result, nobody else can do it. There it is, right there. We're looking at it right now. This little mini game that you could play, and it's because of that
I remember
patent.
this.
They still. That's why no other game to this very day allows you to play a mini game while it loads, which freaking drives me nuts.
And they should. It was Konami, not Namco.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes.
I believe last week you missed the Gleniversary last week.
You're the Gleniversary.
You missed it. My 21 years of writing about video games.
Hey, congratulations.
We were showing all the old columns.
You're
from back
legal
in the
to
day.
drink now.
Yes, we were showing all the old columns, and I believe back when I did when I started phoning it in at column 3, writing about the best games on each system.
Oh my God, is that you?
Yes, it's me.
Oh, it's adorable.
It was me at 14. But we talked about, I believe, Blades of Steel was one of my recommendations.
Oh my God, that's
for
awesome.
the best hockey game on the consoles. I was 14 at the time. Now I'm 35, an old man. If I didn't have facial hair, though, I would look exactly like that still.
I believe you. That means we have to shave you on the show now.
That's horrifying. Yeah,
next week on At the Controls.
Yeah, Tom and I will shave our beards. It'll be awesome. Let's move on to retro.
Now we get into it.
Speaking of anniversaries, happy birthday to the Dreamcast.
Oh my God! Do you remember how much flack it got? They're originally going to call it the Katana.
Yes,
that's right. That was the code name was the Katana, and then they called it the Dreamcast, and everybody got all up in their britches saying, Dreamcast, that's a sissy name. But I'll tell you what, it was a visionary game system that aspired to be more than anything you'd seen before, and it's such a bummer that the technology just wasn't there to support it. Look at the stuff they were trying to make happen.
Now, if you remember, this came out in the US 99.
Yeah, I do remember.
And it came out before PS2, before the 360.
Oh, before any of the...
Yeah, it was Sega's last attempt.
Well, okay, now when you say, I mean, it wasn't...
Well, it's the last attempt at hardware.
Chronologically. Now, here's the problem. Sega died a death of too many console. Like every year and a half, they had another thing. It was the Sega CD. It was the Sega Saturn. It was the Sega, everything. They had the problem of too much success with the Genesis, and they kept thinking that every 20 minutes they had to have
as we were talking about with the former Sega employee at E3,
yes,
in our conversation, Sega just really didn't know what to do after the success of the Genesis and made a lot of missteps.
Did we find that footage? Do we already show the footage that they played of the ill-fated system that went in? We talked
Sega VR?
Yes.
Yeah, we showed that. That was
okay.
terrible.
We did already. Good.
Yeah, Sega. I remember using that and getting a headache.
I played the hell out of Ready to Rumble, though. I remember like one weekend we rented. Back when you could rent a Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah.
And played it for an entire day. So many innovative things. I loved the fact that the do you remember that the little LCD?
The VMUs.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could pull out and you could actually play Tamagotchis on them. And or in the case of like...
And it had play calling on the football.
on
which
Blitz.
NFL 2K was probably my favorite. I think at the time it was the best football game that had ever come out at the time.
There you go. This is Ready to Rumble right here. Yes. See, that's again, this is a cinematic, but the game pretty much looked like this. It was pretty good.
And it was the first console with online capabilities built in.
Although, again, it was the early days, and it was still using.
You could browse the web. No, but they had broadband also. You could use broadband.
But nobody had broadband. Was the problem at the time? Oh, screw you.
We had it in Petaluma. We got broadband in 97.
Of course you did. Why wouldn't you have broadband, jerk? Got everything
but there
else.
were so many great games. Jet Set Radio, NFL 2K, Sonic Adventure, Shenmue, Power Stone 2, Virtual On, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and of course, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
I can't believe you didn't mention Soul Calibur in there.
Soul
Played
Calibur
the hell out of Soul Calibur.
And Crazy Taxi also.
Yes, of course.
Great. Why do you think it didn't catch on?
Well, again, number one, Sega died the death of too many consoles for too many things. They were always coming out with something new. They bet so heavily on it, and it was in the middle. It was just not the right time in the refresh cycle, I think. And also, I don't know if the games just weren't quite there. I mean,
the games were great though.
Well, okay,
at the time
we say that, but this is sweetened by nostalgia as we look back on this time, and they were great for the time. But compared to the titles that we saw at the release of PlayStation 2.
No, dude, PlayStation 2, you know the most popular selling title was for the PS2 when it launched?
Uh-oh, what?
The Matrix on DVD.
What?
People were buying the PS2 and using it as a DVD player. There were only 6 games.
Okay,
for the PS2
you know what?
when it launched.
And you nailed it. This thing wasn't a DVD
this thing
player.
Did not play DVDs.
See, and that's exactly one of the problems with it. Yeah, Jet Set Future was awesome. Jet Set Radio Future. On the,
and that's the thing. So I think DVD was an issue. I think that some publishers didn't quite trust Sega after all their hardware missteps.
Right.
So it didn't have as much game support. And I think some retailers also had issues with Sega. Remember, the Saturn launch was a complete disaster.
Yes.
Where they rolled it out. They surprised everyone at E3 saying we're going to put it into, I think it was KB Toys, Electronics Boutique, and one other chain. And it wasn't even in Toys R Us. Or they basically pissed off a lot of the big box retailers
at
the time by not putting it there. So in the Dreamcast, you had less less support when that came out.
I would totally imagine so. And then there was also the backlash against the name, although that was a minor thing. I think the Dreamcast, people, like what happens with all these names, you hate them until all of a sudden it just becomes what the thing is. We all hated the iPad, we all hated the Wii, but eventually we got over it.
And MN of Singer saying they bought a Saturn at Toys R Us. No, all the retail stores did get the Saturn eventually, but there was an exclusive to, I think, 2 or 3 retail chains for the first couple of weeks that the Saturn was launched, because they surprise announced it at E3 one year. It was basically Sega's attempt with the Saturn to ward off the original PlayStation.
Foxbert in the chat room suggests that really Dreamcast got killed by all of the piratable CDR games. You could burn out a whole bunch of CDRs with stuff, and that was right around the time when you had access to that stuff. That is true.
But the PlayStation had that too. I remember on the PlayStation where you could do the trick where you put in a game, or you could even, people would just take the lid off their PlayStation. Not endorsing anything illegal, of course. This is very
in case you're trying to take your PS1 and pirate a game.
The lid off of PS1 and you could hold down the lid button.
Yes.
You know, and load up and then swap the game after it passed the verification.
But you could do that. I remember doing that back on my Apple IIe. You could actually get a game started and then switch discs live, and it would work out.
I think piracy has affected everything. I think currently the only one that's not as affected by it is the PlayStation 3, if I'm not mistaken, of the current generation consoles.
Now, and why is that? Is that because of the hardware?
I haven't really delved into it. I'm not as up on my leet speak, as it were, when it comes to pirating games, but I think it has something to do with different firmware keys keep blocking people out. So I guess they find a workaround for a while, and then they get blocked off again.
Right. Okay, yeah. Well, and that's what I was about to say, is it seems like the most significant weapon in fighting piracy has been the connection for online games. The fact, like, I had a buddy of mine who loved his hacked Xbox 360, had hundreds of titles, but once the hammer came down on him and he was shut out of the Xbox Live marketplace and he couldn't log into Xbox anymore, he actually was like, well, screw it. And he went and bought another Xbox 360 just so he could actually get back to the online stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, that's what I understand of the PS3 hacking scene. I know with the 360, like you said, they've banned people in different waves, but the Xbox 360 almost, I remember, was shortly after launch that I saw Kevin Rose doing a video on how to hack your 360.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that one was like since day one. The Nintendo Wii also early on they cracked, but the PS3 seems not. Maybe also the size of the games is part of it.
Here's another thing. Another suggestion from KAPT Kipper in the chat room is that the Sega was not backwards compatible.
That's true.
Whereas the PS2 was.
With the PS1.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, moving on, let's look at our random awesome of the week. This is something that I saw on Reddit.
Everybody's a winner.
And no, that's different segment intro.
But retro is very awesome. We should say that retro was very awesome.
To show it.
It was a particularly awesome retro segment.
Let's try that again.
There we go. Hey, what do we say? We look at the random awesome of the week.
Everybody's a winner.
This week, saw this on Reddit, thought it was kind of cool. Mario propaganda posters, or propaganda-style posters from the Super Mario Brothers universe.
What I like about these are not only I mean, first of all, the style's awesome, but I love the fact that they're all for the enemy. Yeah. They're all pro King Koopa.
No, I thought this was really cool. You know, normally we show videos in this segment, things like that, but I just thought this was too good to pass up. I'll post the link to these on my Twitter and G+ right now.
By the way, how can people follow you on G+? Are you plus Glenn Rubenstein?
I think, yeah, G+.2/Glenn Rubenstein.
And I'm G+.2/Wood.
Propaganda poster.
.2/Glenn Rubenstein.
There. I just tweeted it out. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein on Twitter. Or you can hit me up on the Google+. And I will post that there as well. So that's our random awesome. Let's move on right now to feedback. We have a review that Joshua Caleb from the Retro Games Forever podcast submitted. Let me preface this by saying we put the call out. If you want to submit your own video review or your own rant about something that bothers you in gaming, send us an email to twitgameshow@gmail.com. We'll be featuring user-submitted reviews, rants, feedback, whatnot on the show. Send us a link to a YouTube video, and we will feature it on our show if we dig it. Joshua this week is reviewing Star Fox 64 for the Nintendo 3DS.
Yes.
Let's watch the review.
Is this the review or the game?
Message from Joshua Caleb. Priority 1.
Star Fox 64 3D is here. And just like the Ocarina of Time remake before it, this game is a worthy upgrade from the 64-bit original.
Yes!
The graphics have improved since Link's outing, and the 3D effect is a little better as well. But the motion controls, while interesting, are ultimately more trouble than they're worth. The lower screen doesn't play as big a part in this game, functioning only as a ship status display as well as the video screen for your team's Skype calls. My only complaints so far are the new voice actors, which are a little lame, and the fact that the multiplayer is restricted to local Wi-Fi only. Wireless VPN tunneling, anyone? But all in all, this is a great game, but it's still not quite an Ocarina of Time.
That is awesome.
Thank you, Joshua.
That should have been our random awesome of the week. That's friggin'
It's
epic.
under feedback. So if you want to submit a video review, send it to us, twitgameshow@gmail.com. We'll feature it on the show. Let's move on to our notes. Have a little bit of notable news here. Our very own Alex Gumpel is now a professional
big news. Get on
video
over here.
game industry guy.
Come on, pull up a chair. Look at this. This is huge. Okay, explain this.
This is for me?
It's your very own iPad that you're giving to me. Yes. Okay, so seriously,
mic
you are
live
now
chat?
a video game insider, right?
I don't know about insider, but
You're part of the man. You're part of the machine.
so I got this letter the other day in the mail, in the old-fashioned mail, along with a object. And,
Wait, that's a check,
you would
if I'm not
to
mistaken.
read this, I don't
This
think
is
there's
huge.
anything private.
Here,
in there.
I'll read it on there. Not even addressed to you, though.
Well, it's on the envelope.
Yeah. Thank you for your efforts as an independent contractor to Sandswept Studios. Detour did not bring in as much money as we hoped, but we'd like to share a portion of the profits with you. You are responsible for any tax liability associated with receiving this money. That's. I thought that was going someplace else. You are responsible. You're responsible for the game's success. Nope.
You're responsible for any tax liability you have.
Everyone involved should be proud of the achievement of creating a full game from scratch and publishing it. Thank you for all your effort. It's been an adventure. Sincerely, Jeffrey Keane, Richard Keane, and the PS is here's your check.
But those are real signatures. That's not even printed out.
I have a real check for composing music for a video game.
Can we hear it?
We can. It's up there.
Ooh, what is this?
It's the score.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Look at this. This is huge. Hold on. Let's get a zoom in on this. So I had no idea you were so talented. I mean, I knew you were talented, but I didn't know you were musically talented.
And Detour is currently available on Steam, correct?
It is. Currently available on
Now, do we
Steam.
have some footage of Detour?
We got the gameplay trailer queued up there. If Chad wants to bring it up. I mean, so
it's a very epic theme there.
It's supposed to be over the top. It's kind of a cheesy game. So this is not my version of the theme though. This is the guy who replaced me. You kind of change it up a bit.
Let me tell you.
That's in this trailer, but
this is all done by hand. You created real music.
Baramos in the chat room says, "Move over, Tommy Talrico."
Yeah, Tommy, he's a little showboaty for my taste.
Yeah, Tommy Talrico's still pissed at me about something I said on a G4
really?
Icon special.
That's not a good thing to.
Well, they were talking about video game composers. I used to do a lot of talking heads on Icons. They'd bring me in, I would just say funny stuff about games. So they were talking about music and video games, and then and I didn't know they were going to edit it this way. But they said Tommy Talrico released a CD about Tommy Talrico's greatest hits. What do you think that means for video game music? And I said nobody's going to drive around listening to a Tommy Talrico CD in their car, going, "Oh, dude, Battletoads, check it out."
Oh my god!
And apparently, the way they cut it together. Made me look like kind of a dick.
Oh my god.
Apparently he was very upset about that.
This is awesome though. This is
nice guy though. And I do appreciate his contributions to video game music.
He started the Video Games Live concerts with
which is
Jack
awesome.
Wall,
Video Games
those
Live
are
is
amazing.
awesome. My point was just that people tend to like to listen to video game music in context, or some stuff I like some remixes or chip tunes. But I don't know. There are some people that will just listen to a score from a game. I'm not one of them.
You know what? John Tilton is one of those. He'll listen to a remix of that stuff. He loves video game music, and I'm not going to lie. I was one of them back when I was in high school. I remember I had the TurboGrafx CD, and I listened to the score to East Books 1 and 2 all the freaking time.
You know what soundtrack I did listen to in my car, though, actually?
What's that?
Parappa the Rapper.
Oh, dude, of course.
That I downloaded
Every single day,
like a rip
stress
of
comes
that.
in every way. I ain't got no time for nobody. My style is rich, dope, fat, and witch. We'll bake a cake today that looks rich. Crack, crack, crack the egg into the bowl.
So the story with this thing with the detour.
We should do karaoke.
We should do video game karaoke.
We should totally do
Are
video
you
game
kidding
karaoke.
me?
We could sing that song from Night Trap also.
Sing along to this.
No, that's it.
I'm sorry. I feel like we just
into the bowl.
I feel like we just. Can we watch the trailer again there? I feel like we weren't paying attention because we're talking about.
So, well, should I talk about what the kind
set
of
it up for
background
us
of my involvement?
Yeah, how did you get into it?
A few years ago, I knew this guy from the Bungie forums, and he was, I think, part of a mod group with some friends, and he decided to start an independent video game company and make a game. And so he knew who I was, and I was starting to take music theory classes at the time and kind of wanting to get into that. And he asked if I wanted to write music for that, but I kind of told him that, I'm still learning this as I'm going, so it's like I can't guarantee I can do anything. But so we worked on it, and they were doing a project. This is a side-scroller action adventure game kind of thing, kind of like Castle Crashers, but a little different in tone. And so I kind of started writing some music for that and some sketches and coming up with a sound, and that kind of went on for a good while. And because I was learning all these new things and from my theory classes, and so I was kind of incorporating that, kind of going in as at the same time. And it kind of culminated at they're trying to get this published. I don't know if I'm supposed to say what their plans were for this game, but they're trying to get it published through a certain online kind of thing. But they're having trouble getting it approved or getting greenlit. So we sent them a few demos and stuff, and we kind of did this big demo, a build of it called the Ask build. And Ask, I don't know why it was called Ask. There's some storyline reason for that. But it was for the music wise for that I had the whole game is kind of a medieval kind of thing, and there's lots of characters, and so I was gonna have different themes or different characters and all that stuff, but this demo was focused on one character, and I kind of developed a kind of 4-chord motif thing, and it had that going throughout the entire demo, and the music in that I tried to make it very cohesive, and that was really cool. And that but the demo apparently didn't work, and that game was still not picked up, and eventually we just scrapped the game, and he moved to this other game, Detour. And by that time so what happened with the Detour thing, so he wanted me to write the main theme for that, and at the time I had a final project in my theory class for writing a ABA structure piece, which I thought that could work as a main theme. Maybe I can
you actually got credit.
kill two birds with one stone on this.
Yeah.
So I think on here I have the date I started and complete. So I started on December 3rd, 2008 and ended on December 10th, 2008. So within that week, I crammed and crunched and got this pounded out. I was in the theory class, we weren't doing orchestration, but that's what I wanted to do. So I actually got an orchestration book and read through it. And I just kind of tried to do this, and it turned out actually really good, and it worked amazingly for the theme. So I kind of set the tone for the game, how the music should sound, and I did a main menu piece. It was kind of like an elevator music, cheesy kind of version of the theme, because that's what you want to listen to when you're on a main menu.
Yeah, of course.
And then a winning and losing thing. When you win the game, when you lose the game, short things. But by that time, I was also applying to the Berklee College of Music, and they declined me, and I was kind of got musically depressed, and I was just drained.
Sorry, musically depressed.
I mean, I couldn't write anything. It
was a dark period.
It's a dark period, and then and also there's studio politics and stuff. I was kind of like getting bugged about certain things, but and so I quit, and the guy who replaced me, I requested, who I also knew from the Bungie forums, is a friend of mine. And so when I left, I kind of gave him a bunch of samples of music from what I was listening to when trying to come up with this. So if thinking that they could listen to it and kind of through osmosis kind of get the sound that I was going for, and they got it pretty well. In the trailer that was showing, that was the new guy's version of my theme, which was similar, which it is a little different sound, a kind of more David Newman-y sound over my Jerry Goldsmith trying to be sound, but but he changed one note at the end of the melody.
Drives you nuts,
and it drives the hell out of me.
Every time like, that's not my story. What are they doing?
The end of the musical phrase, he moved the note up one thing, and it just bugs me.
What, just up an octave? Or?
Yeah, no, just up one note.
Oh, okay, different note.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe he just misread it?
No, it's he
purposely did it to sabotage you.
It was
just
something
like,
about trying to make music.
Let me twist the knife, Gumball.
Yeah.
But you got paid still.
But yeah, so the thing was, the Detour came out on Steam, I think in May. It wasn't selling very. It was $10. I can't imagine they would sell more than I don't know how many.
8 million.
Well, everyone in
copies.
the chat room wants to know how much you got paid.
I can verify it's $1 million.
I was not expecting much. I was not really expecting a check. So the thing with working with these guys was the idea was we're just kind of volunteering, and then when they actually make money on
yeah. Well, they'll get you on the back end. They'll wet your beak, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, they'll give us a percentage of the profits based on how much work.
So you still stand to make more money.
So everybody buy Detour on Steam.
Absolutely.
So I wasn't expecting much. I was expecting like $2 because it's game is $10. Steam takes 30%. They get 70%. Then it's divvied up between the guys working on the game. And I just wrote 2.5 tracks basically, and I wasn't expecting much. And I got this, and it was like, wow, that's more than I was expecting. I don't know if I should.
No, dude. I'm telling you what.
That's actually impressive.
That's a lot of beer. I'm not gonna lie.
They must have sold a fair amount of copies.
I guess so. If this is a percentage of their revenue. A small percentage of revenue.
You know what? I think you should tell how much it is, because I think it's inspirational to indie developers out there.
All right.
Because if this is a game that didn't sell very well, and they can afford to pay you, who did the music and who was replaced by somebody else in the final thing, and that's what they can afford to pay you.
Well, maybe
that should be inspirational to indie developers.
Yeah.
Or they're afraid you're going to sue them.
Can we get an over under from the chat room? What do you guys think it is? Everybody post your guess, and we'll see.
How much do you think I made writing this music?
Yes,
$5K.
There you go. There you go. $5,000, $1.44.
You're on the high end here a little bit.
10,000.
Okay, 300,
450.
Okay,
700.
Okay, then now it's just a blur.
1 million over. The question is it over 9,000? That's what they really want to know.
I wish. Well, it's over 9,000 yen, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I got $500.
$500.
Hey, that's
now
that's
you know
big
what?
money for me.
Here's just a little conspiracy
considering
theory.
It was a school project. You got credit for it. You got paid to do it.
Here's a little conspiracy theory. Maybe they sent that because now you're working at Twit. They're like, maybe if we pay him a bunch, maybe he'll give us a little bit of plug on the air. We'll sell more copies.
That could be. Yeah. So everyone buy Detour and give me a bigger check.
Yeah.
Keep Alex in
keep
those
me,
fancy
black.
button-down
keep
shirts.
me getting the residuals and the delicious royalties and all
Yes.
that.
He's got a hooker habit to keep up now.
No, but that's great, though. I think that's actually very, very inspirational to indie developers out there, that this is a game that on Steam, in your own words, you don't think sold very well.
No, I mean, and I admit I haven't actually played much of it. When it first came out, and I was on the beta and tried it out, but at that time, there's a lot of bugs. It was designed for a 360 controller, and the translation to the keyboard did not go very well. So it's got these really wonky controls, and there's a big bug with if you have a keyboard that has media controls, like the keyboard will not work or something. So I kind of just gave up on playing it. But it was an interesting concept. It was executed relatively well considering everything that went through, and it was a long development cycle actually. But it's finally out, and it's just kind of cool to see that they started this and they actually got it out, and it's not bad. And also it should be multiplayer ideally. I have not had anyone to play with, so I just kind of did single player stuff, which is
that makes a pretty
the idea
big
is
difference.
you're competing. I think the original premise was it's a square map. There's four players on each side, and you have to build a road to the other side and send a truck over. But then you sabotage the other guys with like bombs and missiles and stuff. And so if you're just playing alone, I don't know how that really works. But
yeah.
So 4 players where it's at.
It's cool. I'm impressed with the music. I think you did a great job on it, and you're very talented. You should write some music for the show.
It's like, funny you should mention that, boss.
Yeah, I
got
think we can afford,
here.
If you would like to keep this set, that was
what?
my gift to one of you guys,
dude. So
this was the published thing that I printed for the class project.
That's awesome.
The full score of however many instruments.
We should start a collection.
Well, and Alex will be the one that sets it aside, so I think you need to find a place for this here.
Can you find a home for it?
Yeah, well, there's a trash can under here.
Oh, get out of here. That's enough of that.
You did a great job, dude. You're very talented. We love having you work on this show.
So I think it's just cool because I have a professional credit and can say I made money on a video game. So,
dude, let me tell you.
I'm an industry guy now.
Wait, let me tell you. When I was featured in Madden 2004 for the episode of Icons that it won, I did Icons in G4. They never paid me anything. Like, they were just like, that's why I stopped doing it. Like, I was on like 6 episodes, and then I was just like, you want me to come out to Santa Monica and do this for nothing? And they put me in Madden 2004. I didn't even get a copy of the game.
Wow.
I didn't get a collector's edition copy of the game because I'm only in the collector's edition. But still, so that's more than I've made for actual work on video games.
Well,
So
That's even pretty good compared to some of the money I've made talking about video games professionally in 21 years. Yeah.
Look professional.
done and done. No, congratulations. That's awesome. And
Yes,
I'm
and
sure
we
that,
find a good place for this year. We should start keeping some stuff.
Well, we'll do that.
Oh Jesus, Stuart in the
Yes,
chat realm. No, we're not
Stuart's
watching
got
that.
it.
We're
Pull
not
it up
watching
right
that.
now.
Oh,
You pull
God.
that up right this minute. Stuart in the chat realm has queued it up. Glenn in 1992 reviewing games on Computer Chronicles. This comes to us courtesy of archive.org.
I can't believe you found this.
Wow, this is the look of extreme discomfort. This says that somebody found a true gem out there. That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, can we play it? Can we hear it?
I think they're pulling it up now. They're typing in the URL.
that's right.
It's very slowly.
There we go. Yes, there it is. And go.
I think I'm a ways in this. Let me tell you my experience taping Computer Chronicles.
Okay.
I tape a bunch of shows on a Saturday.
Yep.
I just show up at like 8 a.m.
And just sit there all
and
day.
just sit there, and then I don't think they actually shot me until like 1 in the afternoon.
Oh, that's how it is. That's all I remember of traditional TV crap is showing up 8 million years early, doing nothing all day. I don't know if new media is any different, but I'd like to think it's slightly different.
I've got a lot of VHS tapes at home. Somewhere I've got the cassette tape. I got to find it of me and Leo on KMBR back in like 1991.
So we should jump this. You say you're about halfway in on
I
this?
have no idea where I'm at in this. I don't watch this, but people pick this up every couple months to embarrass me.
Let's just
And you know, oh, look at you! Oh my God, it's Glenn Rubin. You look like Matt Damon.
Superimpose him.
This is Glenn the awkward
Glenn,
years.
we're going to take a look at some of the best space adventure games out there. We'll also look at
Oh,
some
this is
serious astronomy
fantastic.
software. If your interest in space goes
T-Bar.
beyond just role playing. Now, 4 amateur
See, I'm actually proud of the
astronomers,
work I did in
personal
Icons because I
computer
just thought I
hackers
was
just like him.
funny.
and an organization
yeah.
called
Yeah.
the Santa Barbara
Oh, wait, that's not
Instrument
him.
Group has developed a dedicated astronomy package.
Hang on,
called
we're gonna
Autodot.
get you. We can't do a split screen or anything, can we?
graphics, sound,
Yes,
and
there you
mass
are.
storage we have available. You can fully experience it on a computer. It's almost like virtual reality. It's like being there for those of us that can't go up on the shuttle.
Well, Glenn, we're going to take a look at some of the best space.
He's got the kind of patronizing, like, well, Glenn, I'm gonna do what the grown-ups tell.
I've been doing this way too long.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Well,
that's
that's
fantastic, dude. Congratulations.
No, don't.
Both of you guys
don't
are
steal
professionals.
Alex's moment.
That's great.
You've been on the Tonight Show.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, I guess.
This is pennies to you.
No, it's actually.
Yes, Spot Monk. I got over my teenage acne stage. A Vino face wash. That's what actually cleared everything up.
Maybe that could be our sponsor.
Yeah. Seriously. Normally I'm not. People are always preaching their miracle cures.
Yep.
I got acne until I was 19, and then when I discovered that and started washing with that, everything was better.
Everything worked.
Well, there you go.
Well, this week in acne tips,
Which is good
we're
for
gonna
gamers.
wrap it up.
'cause
Actually,
we
let's
all
face
kinda-
it. Yeah, we want to get
How
off
many
the
times
couch.
have you played a game that you liked so much that you put off showering?
Don't ask me that.
Dude,
Please don't ask me that.
There have been way too many times where you. How many? We should just make a list one day of things that we've put off doing or turned down doing altogether.
Yeah. Again, let's stop talking about this right now.
Or things holding and yeah.
Okay, we have the outro music queued up. So until next time, on behalf of myself, Glenn Rubenstein, Alex Gumpel, video game industry professional, and Mr. Brian Brushwood, magician and professional jackass. It actually says that on his profile.
Yeah, it actually
I did
does.
not
Look
putting
it
him
up.
down.
Brian Brushwood Tonight Show.
Somebody sent me a link. I didn't know it was too. I just clicked on it. It turned out to be me on the Tonight Show.
So on behalf of all of us and Tom Merritt, who couldn't be here today, but he will be back next Friday, this is Glenn Rubenstein reminding you that time enjoyed is never time wasted, especially when you're at the controls. Keep on gaming, and we'll see you back here next week. Woo!
Let's try to do a Keith Olbermann thing.
Yeah, it was good. I like that. It was tight. All right, now, can we all make a freaking epic rap battle? All right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. 2 turntables and a phone. What does this sound like? Let me hear it. We'll do just do a video wall. Oh.
For those catching us today on Sunday, For the first time, we're normally on Fridays at 4 p.m. Pacific right here on the Twit Network. I should stop talking in my radio voice because people say Glenn tries too hard for a show on Twit.
Glenn tries too hard? What?
It's because if I don't try to talk with that
Just
cadence
talk in a
tone,
monotone
the problem
voice
is then that I end up
and
getting way
very
too excited or talking way too fast. We're just gonna go over, so sometimes it's more controlled. Yes, thank you, Rivalworks.
At least you're not talking all broken up like I'm talking.
And the reason why I talk in that voice, I learned that from Leo. I learned that from doing a radio show with Leo. Just how to go into that.
You learned from osmosis.
Yes. I have to suppress my glenthusiasm. That's correct.
All right, this is what we're gonna do. Here, we'll all do a group thing. We'll all do one, and we'll make it with video wall because that one looks good. All right, here we go. Glenn, you want to take it first? Sing.
No, I can't sing.
What?
Yeah, here you do.
All right, here we go. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. I.
Sing like.
Yeah, you say like.
Like in that tone?
Yeah.
Like.
Like. Okay.
Yeah, wait.
Like.
That's pretty good. You
That was good. That was good.
All right.
Okay. Sing two.
Two.
Now
You gotta say party.
I can't
You
sing.
gotta do it. Say
Glenn,
party.
I was gonna do
Ready?
that. Party.
That's good. All right.
It's gonna be fun.
Say woo.
Wait,
I want
say
to
woo.
do woo.
All right, here, we'll all do woo.
Yeah,
Here, get it.
Everybody.
Is it
Alex,
say
come
All
or
right, ready?
like a
Hold on,
woo?
he's gonna press it. We're all gonna lean in and say woo. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo!
And then we should all do
Right.
the clap.
And then everyone in. Ready? Well, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, make video go.
Make rocket go now.
All right.
Huh? Look at that counterpoint. Yeah. Everybody loves counterpoint. All right.
That's all.
Forget counterpoint. Show me needlepoint.
That's counterpoint, yo.